Hi everyone. My name is Angelica Yingst, and I'm here for your December Earth Medicine reading. So, if you haven't been here before, what I do every at the top of the month is I come in and I pull a tarot card, a three crystals, animal medicine. I kind of bring forth like what's actually the energy coming forth for December, what we're going to be working on, and like these are basically allies to help you work um, in that realm. So I'm excited for December. We had some really rough months in 2020, and December is a big one. It's kind of like the culmination. So I'm excited to kind of see what's going to happen. So we had a huge full moon yesterday, which was a lunar eclipse as well. And if you're popping in here, this is the first time I've done this live. So just feel free to pop comments in or whatever. I'm happy to see if I can answer questions or whatever. Like I said, I've not done it this way, so we'll see what happens. So there was a lunar eclipse in Gemini yesterday. And so that kind of brings forth so eclipses, what they do is they specifically have like mystical hiding. They hide things, but they also help us set patterns, they help us change things, they help us bring forth information. And especially in Gemini. So I guess you can say eclipses keep things hidden, right? They go shadow over. So we usually have to like use every sense that we have and really tap into our intuitiveness to kind of bring forth what the medicine is. So they help us expand by bringing forth, you know, um, the shadow and what we have hidden and things like that. So this is all about using the voice and really both listening and pushing forth. So what's really coming up in December, and the big one in December is December 21st. There is a great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, which happens in Aquarius. Now, um, don't think I can like overstate this. What's happening when Jupiter and Saturn conjunct? It's basically a portal, and it's helping us like shed things. It's the first time it's happening in a few hundred years where it's happening in a new sign, so or a new element. It's happening in air. Um, and so and I'm kind of pulling from Chani Nicholas. So if you don't know her, she's a wonderful astrologer. I'm not trained as an astrologer, but I know enough to be a little dangerous. So I'm using her words, and I don't want to not give credit to her. She really does the work here, and I just kind of bring forth some times to remember. So that 21st day is going to be a big one. Um, and she says it's the most important astrological signature any of us will live through because it's the first time that these two planets will make a conjunction in a new element. And it's the beginning and a mark of a new cycle that will last a couple hundred years, which is interesting. And scary, right? Because you're kind of like, what else can you bring 2020? Truly, what else can you bring? um, so when that's coming up, what she's suggesting and what the medicine that came through is showing me is that we're going to have to be like releasing a lot, and just like really getting narrow and deep with what works for us. So like letting go of toxicity, letting go of toxic people, letting go of toxic situations. If you need to get off social, get off social. And I know I'm on social to do this, but you know, just knowing that you should be letting go of stuff that isn't serving you is going to be really important. And some of the medicine coming through seems really clear about that. Everything is opening, right? Like our whole selves are opening, and the collective is coming up. So we're going to need to make sure we're a clear and open channel for the amazing change that is possible. And so you're just kind of thinking of it that way. So we have all these potentials of energy. Which way are we going to go? We get to push it forth by what we're putting forth. Does that make sense? So she says that Gemini loves nothing more than to process. So this is a time to do that internal work. And I can see some of that coming through with journaling work and with different kinds of writing and just kind of working out the issues. Okay. So I pull a tarot card for the month, and the card that I pulled this month is the High Priestess, which I'm excited about. You know, this kind of goes in line with us opening psychically. The High Priestess is the second of the major arcana. She's basically like she was kind of created as a joke, as the female pope, which was put forth not just recently. We kind of think of this as a recent development, but there have been many movements over the centuries to have women be priests and popes and things like that. It was particularly strong in the um, like 13th, 14th, 15th centuries, where people were pushing for this priestess idea, right? The high pope, the pope being a female. And so this high priestess comes in, and she's between these two pillars, the pillars of Boaz and Joachim, um, which are the pillars in front of the Temple of Solomon in the Bible. And she has like a lot of different symbols on her. She's standing on the moon, giving her like a moon goddessy kind of feel. But this is also the same image that the Virgin Mary shows as well, where she often steps on the moon. She steps on a snake as well, which is interesting, and you'll see why in a minute. Because we'll talk about snake today, because snake is the medicine that's coming up for this month as well. I'm just going to go with it because that's important. But she is supposed to have, that dress is blue, but it's supposed to be water. She's holding a scroll that says Torah on it. And she's wearing a cross over her heart. She has this is the crown of Isis. So she has the horns. And then behind her are pomegranate. And pomegranate are very important symbols, both for Demeter and Persephone. So meaning the um, trip into the lower world, basically the underworld, to pull out wisdom and knowledge. And hi, Debbie. And also the symbol of basically the virginity of Persephone given to Hades when he raped and kidnapped her. And then it's also a symbol of fertility in the Old Testament. I think it's I don't remember who it was. I feel bad not remembering, but it's a symbol of fertility. So the horns of Isis are they were a cult, basically like a cult in the Mediterranean, and they were shown as, um, fertility symbols, and then to bring forth Isis, who has many of the same symbols as the Virgin Mary. When I was in college, I did a comparative look at the roles of the images, the iconography of the Virgin Mary versus other cults in the Mediterranean, and they all used very similar imagery, which is the blue, the virgin birth, things like that. So she's definitely pulling on that. And when I say she, I mean Pamela Coleman Smith is pulling on all this iconography to bring forth the image of the high priestess. The high priestess is said to be silent, and she communicates through her telepathic power. She holds like an esoteric, mysterious, and very lunar medicine that she brings forth. Like she had energy of the feminine, the divine feminine. And so that's a powerful part of the energy of December. So when we pull a card for the entire month, what we're working with is this kind of archetype energy of whatever the card is. And we've not just pulled major arcana, but when a major arcana comes, we know it's going to be a really spiritual month, a month that we can have some growth. And her introverted nature makes this an introverted month, which is hard to imagine because it's the month of holidays and celebrations. But in the time of COVID and social distancing, this also makes a lot of sense, right? So the high priestess is coming in to activate the third eye, the crown. You can see she's like, it's almost looks like she has a big moonstone over her third eye. She's just going to super activate that. And anytime you have antlers or horns, they're basically like antenna to God, right? And to spirit. So downloading information and being internal. This is a time that sleep and working with your sleep time in terms of dream work and other things is going to be really valuable. So if you don't have a dream journal, that's an important thing that you might want to start. If you don't work with the moon cycles, maybe this is the time to start working with the moon cycles. The new moon, I believe, is on the 14th, though I have to look again. I had it written down and then I left my paper. So, I'm kind of looking it up on my moon chart. If you don't have a moon, what do we call that? Yep, 14th is the new moon. So new moon, you're setting intentions, going very inward. This isn't a social time. Anything that you have scheduled on the 14th should be like with immediate family, people that you can really let your hair down with and be yourself. This would be a really good time for any divination work, visioning for the new year, kind of getting that set and settled for setting up for this next year, which is going to be a Hierophant year. And I'm going to do a video on that. This year was an emperor year. And what we do is we just add up all the digits, like 22 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 equals 4. That's a emperor year. And emperor energy is all about stability and authority. So we're really, and I guess I should talk about that too, because we're talking about it with the high priestess. When we work with a card for a month, for a year, it isn't just about all that light aspect, what we call the upright aspect or the positive aspect of the card. We have to really wrestle with the shadow aspect of that. So like in an authority year, in an emperor year, we're wrestling. What does authority mean? What does authority give us? We may feel like putting the giant, like, F you to authority. It's not always about being like, yay, authority, or yay, I'm psychic. It's about wrestling with the fact that sometimes we feel very uninspired or unintuitive. It's very somatic. We feel it in our body. We don't have the intuitiveness of it. I don't even know if somatic's the right word, because somatic has a kind of intuitiveness about it when we say that word. More like, we're just dealing with the physical and not with the spiritual. So we wrestle with like how much is enough or not enough for the work we want to do in terms of psychic work. So we have to remember that the high priestess isn't just about that flow. It's so amazing. We also wrestle with the fact that we don't have the flow sometimes, and how do we deal with that? So when we get like a card for the month, we wrestle with both the light and the shadow. All aspects of it are coming up in different ways and in different days. We're dealing with different things that have to do with the high priestess. Sometimes the divine feminine can feel a little oppressive, for those of us who have masculine energy, for example. We don't want to be flowy. We want to be rigid. We don't want to be in the heart. We want to be in the head. And so the high priestess gives you this black and white, these two dynamics to work with. So, when we're working with the divine feminine in the high priestess and working with goddesses and those kind of things, we also have to wrestle with the fact that we need to work with the divine masculine in equal measure. So if you're feeling like a little too wishy-washy, crying a lot, doing that, being like emotive, you may want to call in some of that divine masculine to help balance that. So let's talk about some of the other medicine coming up this month. So I pull a Mystic Shaman card and we got Earth. So just remembering we're grounding as well. Don't be so airy-fairy up in your third eye that you forget to ground, because one of the things we forget to mention a lot is, when you ground, you can remember the stuff that happens in psychic work. So earthing and earth-bound activities can be very helpful. Again, with snake, snake works with grounding because the snake's belly, the entire belly is on the ground. And so we're kind of bringing in that snake medicine. We're also bringing in grounding medicine. So The earth is really asking you to be present on the earth and think of the gifts that you've brought forth. It doesn't have to be my gifts. I talk about psychic work all the time because that's what I do. That's one of my gifts. But what is your unique gift? If you're a wonderful singer, that's a gift. That's your gift to bring forth. If you're wonderful at telling stories, if you're a wonderful baker, these are your gifts. They're the gifts from the earth. Okay. And so we can also go out and be present on the earth. I know it's colder. And a lot of people don't like to be outside when it's so cold. But if you bundle and get out there, you'll find that the quiet of outside, you don't hear as many birds. You're just present in the earth and in earth medicine. So that can be its own kind of healing. And so anytime you're feeling really claustrophobic and stuck in and introverted, as we say, because of the high priestess, you're going to do the earth grounding and just be present on the earth. Even if you just go outside for a few minutes, it's going to be really valuable this month. And not everybody I know is in the northern hemisphere. So, you know, be aware that wherever you are, this is applying. Um, so yeah. Hi, Rebecca. So let's talk about the medicine of snake. This is actually the third time snake has come up this year. So that says to me that this is a big year of transformation and change. Snake is all about shedding skin and changing. Now, the medicine that came forth for snake this month is a little different. It feels very self-care, feels very grounding. So when we do our journey, if you're part of my membership group, I do, and you're subscribed as a shamanic journey receiver, we're going to be journeying with snake to go internal for self-care. So snake is a wonderful guide for self-care. They go and basically hibernate. So it's very bear-like energy in that way, because they're cold-blooded. They, everything slows down. They go into a hole when the sun goes in. So this can be really challenging if you're like where I am in Pennsylvania when the sun goes down at 4:30 in the afternoon to go to bed. But this is kind of asking you to be like connected with the cycles of whatever's happening where you are. So, going to bed early, taking really exquisite care of yourself, coming out when the sun comes up, sunning yourself, treating yourself like a cold-blooded creature in some ways. And then feeding yourself really good food, but feeding it maybe not every day. You don't have to have this big, rich food. Snake doesn't eat every day. It eats, and lies in wait and eats when it's ready. So and I'm not encouraging you to not eat. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this is a time that we're surrounded by lots of sweets and lots of rich food and just kind of paying attention to the rhythm. Like, how do you feel when you eat that? And we're just kind of keeping with that kind of rhythm. So we're paying attention to what we're putting in our body and remembering that, the skin is the absorber too. So we're also nourishing our skin, exfoliating, feeding our skin, drinking in, taking baths, luxuriating, putting creams on our skin. Those things can be very, very helpful. I'm sorry, somebody's down there doing something. So snake is about going to bed early, rising with the sun, and enjoying like long slumbers. And that, of course, dream medicine is really important. Snake is such a mystical creature. We did a journey with snake in August, I think, or July, where it was snake and the Orphic egg. So we're going kind of like into the lower world with snake. We will still go into the earth in this journey. It'll just be pulling out what self-care tools are going to be individually important for you, not just for everybody in the world, so we're going to do like that kind of work with snake this month. And I just love snake medicine. And so we did snake in February before everything happened, before the pandemic. So it's kind of interesting to revisit snake again this month. So we're working with snake. Now for the earth medicine of the plant, we're working with violet. Now violet isn't up right now, and I actually put it back in the deck and reshuffled and pulled violet again. So clearly it wants to come out and be present. And violet's about attraction and attracting things to you. They're very beautiful and cute, and You just want to kiss them. They're so adorable. So looking at violet as a tea, anything that you can bring in to kind of make you feel that that warmth of beauty. So the Beauty Way is a wonderful path forward in December to kind of think of like what is aesthetically pleasing to you and why, what attracts you to that and what makes you attractive is just kind of, and I don't mean sexually attractive. I just mean what catches your eye, what makes you feel warm and cozy. One of the things I kind of go for in my home is for my home to feel warm and to feel um beautiful, like in your soul, like do you feel nurtured and nourished? And so you're kind of thinking about that and bringing forth violet with that. Violets are candy, they can be worked with in a lot of different ways. So if you don't have violet and you don't have herbs, you can kind of search for some teas that might have a little bit of violet in. I know there's like violet gum. You can kind of look for things, maybe even it's a soap or a wash for your face, just to bring in that medicine for you. And if you can't find anything like that, then using violet, like the color violet, can help bring that ray of light along the Beauty Way. Now, our crystals for the month are just a really cool array of different stones. So we have Herkimer again. I feel like we've had Herkimer a few times this year. I'm bringing forth my little Herkimer that was gifted to me by my teacher. So Herkimer is, and some Herkimers are so water clear. They're like you could see through them. And that's one of the cool things about Herkimer. This one's pretty gnarly, and they also have that reputation of having some skeletal abilities. They go deep into like the DNA, and let us change patterns that aren't working. They expand in the crown, so we can use them in the crown. We can use them anywhere really, but the Herkimers are usually double terminated. They just have such amazing energy. They're wonderful for meditation. They're wonderful for an ally for sleep. They're wonderful as an ally for any work of awareness expansion, meditation, ascension, healing work. So they're both personal stones and they can be used for other people. But yeah, I love to put a Herkimer on my altar when I'm starting to do meditation work. And then I grab it when I sit down and I put it back up when I'm done with it. So loving working with Herkimer this month. So Herkimer is one of our guides this month. The second stone I picked was sodalite. So I just pulled this sodalite. I have so much sodalite, but I use a lot of palm stones as a crystal practitioner because they lay flat on the body. Sodalite looks a lot like lapis. I don't think I have my lapis here, but lapis has pyrite, and this one does not. It has a more white calcite, so that's how you tell the difference. The wonderful thing about sodalite is that it's kind of a truth bringer, and it's really great for journaling and for writing. So it's called the writer's stone, and that's a really great ally for the work that we're asked to do this month, with just like journaling our dreams. It's also very psychic and opening of the third eye. So it works with the third eye and throat. And so you can use them on either. So if you're wanting to like write it out or channel or do automatic writing, sodalite's your ally, okay? And you're working with that for that work. So carrying it with you, wearing it, of course, sleeping with it is wonderful. I recently had a student say like they couldn't do like all of their stones. They were having nightmares. Just do one at a time if you're deciding to sleep with them, and just see how they feel while you're sleeping, and then build up to bringing more than one into bed. And when you put it in bed, just remember that if you're holding it, you're going to drop it. So you may want to tuck it into your like pillowcase, or wear it or do something. But sodalite's wonderful guide for art, for writing, for any kind of creation, and for bringing forth truth. Hi, Leaf. Sorry, Leaf. I read that wrong. Nice to see you. So yeah, the sodalite's going to be a wonderful gift this month. And then the last one that we pulled for this month, the last stone medicine, is aragonite. Aragonite comes in these are called aragonite stars, or you can get it where it's polished. This is a palm stone of aragonite. Same stone. If you're using the stars, they are all about this kind of expansion energy. I love to use one aragonite on each chakra for a beautiful layout. Um, you're kind of expanding out. And I love putting one on each chakra to just kind of like gently open every chakra. It is a high vibration stone. It works for every chakra. This is one of my go-tos for skin issues. So I make a gem water with aragonite and aquamarine, though you could just use one or the other. And then I cleanse my face. You can probably see I have some psoriasis. I put it on my psoriasis patches. So aragonite is just a wonderful ally for this work. And again, like the expansion work, it is otherworldly. It feels like it comes from somewhere else. So you can use either. A lot of people love the star clusters because it opens, right? And it looks like it's pointing in every direction. So, going with aragonite is, I just love this combo this month with aragonite, herkimer, and sodalite. So this is your medicine for this month. So if you don't know, I do have monthly memberships, and what happens with those is every month at the full moon, I'll send out a reading for just who, if you like, you can do different levels. So you can just do a reading on the full moon, or a reading on the new moon, or a shamanic journey. Those are the three options. And that's only $20. And you can I'll just email it to you every month, and you can stop at any time. Some people go for all three of them. So you'll get a reading from me, and it's like a collective reading where I read for the entire group of people that are listening. And then the shamanic journey goes out, like, it'll go out within a day or two of this reading, and they're guided. And then if you go even further, you can do a personal reading every month too. And you can just do it for 1 month, or you can do it as a recurring kind of payment sort of thing. But it's so much fun to do. So what I'll do this month is we're going to be doing that journey with Snake. And just so you know, if you want to gift this to someone, you can do like a 3-month gift thing for them. Just let me know. You can send an email to Angie at the Moon and Stone, and I'm happy to set it up for you. Whatever you want, and we can kind of like put together packages. I also do like New Year readings that are wonderful gifts. And in that, I'll do the reading for the entire year, and then a reading each month. And I set it up that you only have to listen to that month. They're about like 5-minute readings for each month. And then like at the beginning of the month, you can go back and listen to it. And those, I send the stones that they pull for the year, and do a painting for their guide, their animal guide of the year, for their altar. So it's like a kind of a nice package to give someone for Christmas. So, or Yule, or whatever you celebrate, even just a New Year gift. So those are some options that I have. Oh, cool, Leaf. That's cool. So, I love that you use that elixir too. I'm happy to answer any questions now if you have any about this month or anything that has come up here. Um, so just pop them into the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap up. So happy to see you guys here. Thanks for popping over for my first YouTube live stream. I was kind of hoping to do both, like YouTube and book at the same time, but I didn't know how to do that. So I'm still setting that up on StreamYard. So we'll see how that goes. But all right, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you next month. Oh, and I'll do the reading for the year, and do that. Oh, Debbie said, "Can aragonite be put in water for gem elixirs?" Yes, but just know that if you put one of these in water, there's lots of dust and dirt that comes out. So you want to strain it through a like cheesecloth or whatever. And I usually use it topically. I haven't looked at the toxic list, but I use it topically. So. You're welcome, Debbie. Oh, thanks, Leaf. All right, guys. Bye. Love you. Happy holidays.